Loading, 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 loading. Internet! Oh no, I forgot my coffee. Uh-oh, internet. You gotta hold on, I forgot my coffee. All right. Whoa, hey, we're loading. Yeah. What's up, internet? That is exactly how you start a weekend show. To anybody out there who's wondering, that's how you do it. Start it off early. Forget your coffee. Then run to get it. It's just a matter of engagement, you guys. You know, we got to think about how we're going to engage with people. If we're going to be on YouTube, we got to consider the engagement. Ha ha! What's up, everybody? It's the weekend. It's Saturday. As you can see, it's very festive Saturday. I got wrong hand. I got balloons. I got balloons for y'all. Happy Saturday. It's balloon time. What are these balloons about? What are they for? What are they doing? What are these balloons for? Well, we'll get to that in just a minute. But let's say what's up to Rocky's Rocky being number one on the weekend style. Number one. Where's Frank Dominguez? I don't know. He's dethroned on the weekend by Rocky's Rocky. Found out that Rocky's Rocky is from the UK. I found that out today. Amaze. By the way, big shout out. Big shout out to anybody in the UK. Figure out where George Farmer is and what he's up to. He's got some really good advice for y'all if you're out in the UK and you're trying to figure out, hey man, where am I going to get some plants? Where am I going to get some aquascape stuff? Where am I going to get that? George Farmer would be the guy. Hit him up. Bug him. Good dude. Hope to do some projects with him soon. But hit him up if you're in the UK. He'd be the UK guy that I would start out with. So he's pretty accessible on the old YouTube. Can give you a little bit of advice on the UK stuff. If you're like missing things and I'm like, I don't know where to go. Hit up the Georgie boy. He's a good dude. Cowdoe Punk is here. Yay, for a Saturday show. M. Howie9, what's up? He's out in the barn doing the fish room, getting ready on the work there. Bald and Dangerous, another UK buddy, is here from all the way from, I'm sure it's raining in Scotland. It was raining here a little bit today, but it's partly cloudy out now and mighty beautiful. But we'll get to the balloons. Relax, everybody. It's Saturday. Come on, man. Just get excited for Saturday. It's good. Oh, my ear's ringing. Glorious. Can't hear out of the left channel. I do have tinnitus from time to time, and most every day I have tinnitus. I'm like ringing in my ears almost all the time. It's cool. I've had a colorful life. It's all good. Pete Berlinski is here. Jad Orze. I see Scottish Aquatics in the chat. And let's keep scrolling down here. KG Cichlids is here. Barbara Jackson. Daniel Scary. Tim the Towel. What's up? Nick's Fish Room. There's Frank Dominguez. There's Baby Aquarium. There's Licks Nibbles. I see Nathaniel John. I see Jeff Rose, my man. I see Lord Stark. Lord Stark. Oh. That took me, I had to say it out loud, and I figured it out. Lord Stark, yes, good to see you. How are we all doing today? Hopefully everybody's having a fantastic Saturday out there. It is the weekend here. It's Saturday here. It's Sunday if you're in Australia, New Zealand, Japan, whatever, in that area of the world. It is good to be out here and say hello. Crystal Harrison says, Aquarium Co-op, whoop. What does that mean? What does that mean? Orsi. Oh, Jad Orsi. Okay. What's up, Jad? Good to see you. Cowdo Punk says, loves the festive balloon decor. Yes, let's get to the balloons real quick, because I bet people are wondering, dude, what's with these balloons? You're so weird. And I'll tell you this. I just felt like getting some balloons. No, I didn't. Victoria hosted a baby shower, not for our baby, but a baby shower. As you can see, the blue variety is typically for a boy. And green for a girl, right? Because they start with the letter B, blue, G, green. Maybe we'll do green. Maybe we'll do green for our girl that's coming. We're very excited about our baby. But we had a baby shower today for a friend that was going to have a baby, I guess. I'm pretty sure that's the main reason why anybody would have a baby shower, I think. Or maybe just excited and just throw a baby shower because your level of excitement is so dang high, right? Just for whatever. I don't know. But yes, we got the balloons here for the baby shower this morning. And I was like, I'm putting them in the background because I like balloons. It's very festive. And yeah, so we're going to go for that. And we'll be doing that today. What's the topic? Boom! A lot of people asking questions about what the topic is today. Today is the Fish and Aquarium questions from the Patreon and the YouTubes. I do not have specific questions from the YouTubes. You, in the chat, are the YouTube portion. The Patreon portion will be brought up from the Patreon page. My Patreon page, to be exact. What is a Patreon? People are always confused. What is Patreon? It's a third-party website, which means it's unassociated with, it doesn't have anything to do with Facebook or Twitter or YouTube or Twitch or any of those channels. Any of those websites. It's its own website that is a platform that is to essentially crowdsource creators, artists, musicians, whatever, or even just pragmatic things like maybe there's a professor you want to help do a professor type thing. It can fund anything, but basically anybody who's doing some projects that you want them to do and you want to help them out, that's what Patreon does. That's what Patreon does for this channel. We currently have 294. We have 294 people who chip in on a Patreon page. There's a link for it right there in the chat. It's amazing, 294 people. We hit a goal, although I do know it is a surreptitious goal. That's not the right word, is it? No, that's not right. Maybe that's the right word. Hold on. Let's do a quick word of the day. Surreptitious. Let's check it out. Kept in secret, especially because it would not be approved of. Well, that's not right. Well, that's sort of right. Well, it's not because it wouldn't be approved of, but surreptitious number posted up right there because it will jump back down because we do have somebody who has graciously basically patronized last month at a $200 level, and that's going to actually bump back down. But right now it is at $1,500. We hit that first goal. The first goal, which was to be essentially doing one, we're moving into the step of doing edited videos. And here's kind of the funny thing. Like, I feel like I've been putting up it. So this goal right here is I was going to commit to one fully edited video a week. I'm pretty sure I've been doing more than that already. But hey, we've hit that goal. But be aware that we will probably jump back down once the $200 Patreon goes back to normal. But for the time being, we definitely hit that goal. So we'll be able to be doing that, right? In the meantime. But that's where the Patreon questions come from. So anybody's wondering what Patreon was about, that's what it is. It's crowdsourcing, being able to make this show along with the edited shows, being able to travel, do all that stuff, pay the Pay the crazy internet charges I got to do around here, help out with equipment costs, blah, 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 all the litany of nonsense that goes on that just costs money. That's where it's coming from. It's coming from you guys, the Patreonizers. And typically on Friday, I answer the Patreon questions. As you guys, some people know, I was off working yesterday, and Jimmy stole my phone and did a stream from the Aquarium Co-op. Because I was off working, trying to make some money, because we got lots of bills to pay. As a lot of the people that have been following the channel for a long time know, my truck was totaled in a hit-and-run accident, and that's one of the reasons, not all of the reasons, but it's one of the reasons that I have to go out and do those jobs, because the insurance people have they turned the tables on me. They got a lot of people working there, and they're just bringing the pain, you know what I mean? So, going to be in a deficit here, and that's just life. So, hitting the pavement, got to go out there and work. And somebody asked me, they were like, "Don't you make money from doing these videos?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's a significantly smaller portion of money compared to me going out and getting a gig for a day or two or three or 5 or 10 or whatever. So it is just a matter of got to go do that work. Plus, I enjoy doing the work. You know, this work, that work, whatever work I like doing, I like doing it. So it's all good with me. But it's just a pragmatic thing why we couldn't do the Friday. So we're doing the Saturday show to do the answers for that. I was gone for Thursday and Friday working out in the field, so we don't have any video portion, but we will just be answering all that stuff, going through it. It's basically making up for the no Friday show. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying. Let's answer a couple of questions here from the chat. Wushu Jimmy Brown says, Litany of Nonsense is the name of my band. I like it. That's a good name for your band. I dig it. Bentley Pascal says, anywho, just saying hi and hurling a like. Back to working in the fish room. Oh, Bentley Pascal, what's up, my man? Good to see you popping into the chat, hitting that like button. He's probably doing a share, I'm guessing. He's probably going to share and do all that. And if that's going to be cool, I'm for sure. Crystal Harrison was asking, is it possible to have different colored shrimp coexist in one 30-gallon tank? Yes, it is possible. They will interbreed. So let me explain that a little bit. If you have what's considered a Skittles tank, typically people would refer to it as a Skittles tank, would be an aquarium that has, for instance, a bunch of different Neocaridinus or cherry shrimp that are of the different colors. So you have like a blue velvet, you have a red cherry shrimp, you'll have some yellows, maybe some oranges, stuff like that. You'll have them all mixed into one tank. Be aware, there's nothing wrong with that except for the aesthetic side of everything. You will start to breed out the coloration, the specific coloration of those shrimp. So you will head towards you'll start to head back towards wild coloring, which is brown. Speckled and brown is the wild variation for Neocaridinus. You'll be heading back in that direction, and it won't be as aesthetically pleasing. They will most likely be healthy shrimp. They just won't be as good looking. So that's the definite downside, and also the downside of breeding those shrimp in that way is that you're essentially taking away the monetary value. Unless you'll be taking away the monetary value of those shrimp. Scottish Aquatics says, unless you put all females, yes, to a degree, but more often than not, females have already been inseminated long, they're fertile, basically, long before any of us would ever really recognize that. And then they'll end up throwing offspring and most likely not notice that the babies are in there, the babies start to grow up, and then there's males mixed in. It's just not a great idea. I would just go into it knowing that, they're going to breed out. We're going to breed out the coloration that we're looking for, whether it be yellow or red or blue or whatever. You'll just end up breeding the color out, and they won't be as as colorful. And then Crystal with a follow-up question is, okay, thank you very much. Will endlers eat the shrimp eggs or the babies? Endlers, okay. Shrimps are, okay. Shrimps are essentially life bearers. They give birth to live shrimp. They don't leave, there are some people out there that will remove shrimp, eggs from shrimp and stuff like that, but typically most shrimp carry their eggs with them until, they swim off, they go away. Days free swimmers. And endlers will most likely eat some of the babies, but they're pretty crafty, and endlers are kind of stupid. I had for a long time, I had endlers with some of my crystals and stuff like that, and it was never that much of an issue. Yes, they would get a snack every once in a while, but, I guess it just depends on if you had like 5 babies in there and 500 endlers. Eventually, some of them would get eaten, I'd imagine. But if you had just a couple in there or whatnot, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But I personally, I wouldn't care, like in my own situation. But if I was trying to breed them, I wouldn't do it. Ian's wondering how to remove eggs from the shrimp, how and why. More often than not, harvesting the shrimp eggs is kind of crazy, so like neocaridinus and stuff like that. But oftentimes, the pregnant females, whether it be, crystal shrimp, cherry shrimp, whatever kind of shrimp we're talking about, sometimes pregnant, they will have a problem. They sometimes have an issue. Maybe it got bit, something like that, by an endler or something. And you have to harvest the eggs just to hatch them out. So you can move them into an egg hatchery, egg tumbler, and move them in there and do that. And you can successfully hatch them that way. They just have to be moving. It's mainly just to save the eggs. If anybody's ever doing that, it's mainly because they're saving the eggs. Daniel Scary is asking, hey, what happened to your guppy that got the vasectomy? The vasectomy? Well, the male didn't get a vasectomy. The female has just never, ever given birth. So she's fine. She's in there swimming around. She doesn't. I was looking at her the other day. She might be a little cranky. She might just be a little cranky, being all alone all the time. But other than that, she's doing fine. Never gave birth. It's kind of stupid. Let's see here. Eric Hernandez using the gym Wi-Fi to see this live from the gym. I'm liking that. I was actually working out a little earlier. Did you guys know I got my double 25-pounders over there, which oftentimes if I'm sitting here in the office, I will just take 5 minutes out of the hour to go over there, pick them up, do my things, do my squats, do my curls, push up, up, all the good stuff, get the blood pumping, and then come back to editing or something. Of which, speaking of editing, some of the editing's coming along quite well. We're moving forward on getting some more of those Germany videos out. If anybody's excited for those, I know I'm excited to get them out, which is pretty darn cool. And we've got a $50 super chat from the Aquarium Co-op saying, whoop, there it is. Let me hear you say, whoop, there it is. Thank you very much, Corey. Appreciate chipping in on the old live streamy here. Preach, right? Yeah, that's how it goes. Andrew Crankshaw says, Eco-Complete Cloud Bomb my tank. False advertisement. Pretty much every substrate out there will cloud bomb your tank. You got to take a little bit of care. You got to take a little bit of care to get that put into the tank as carefully as possible, or refilling the tank. You just got to go slow. You got to do a little bit of to do the to just be careful and not get the big cloud of dust. Pretty much every substrate out there will do it to some degree. Luckily, like with Eco Complete, it will clear up pretty rapidly with a good amount of filtration, a little bit of water movement, kind of just go overnight. Maybe a little filter floss or something like that. You get it knocked down, be crystal clear probably tomorrow. Just the following day. Just give it a little bit of time, and it'll be all right. It'll be all right. Zombie Drummer is here saying, hey, fancy seeing everyone on a Saturday. It is fancy. What's up? Good to see you, Zombie Drummer. Mateo is here all the way from Idaho. I wonder if the subtitles can even figure out what that is. I doubt it. Should probably go back and look at that and see what the old subtitles think that it is. The closed caption probably thinks, I don't know. I don't know what it thinks. Catherine Crowley McCoy Bryan. Sorry, Catherine Crowley McCoy Bryan. I think I got it. Has a 75-gallon Planet tank with 25 platies. Would like to add Bosemani rainbows and Corys. How many of each? I would say I would add. Depends on the type of Corys. The type of Corys, I would at least normally go between 8 and 15 of a school of them. I don't like to go any less than 8. Because if you go under 8, you're just going to have a problem with them kind of schooling up. They just kind of get unhappy. It's never great to have a Cory all by itself. They don't enjoy it. They like to be in a bit of a group, and they're pretty social little buggers. So I would go with that. And with the Bosemanis, I would say just dependent on the size of them would be the biggest thing. If you got full-blown adults, I would make a consideration between 4 and 5. But if you're going to grow them up together and have a good school together, I'll go between like 5 and 10 to hopefully I would try to get up to like 10. And the reason for that is that the bigger they are, they're going to want to be breeding and all that kind of stuff. So if you are dropping in bigger fish, it's not that they're going to grow to the size of the aquarium. That is a big time snafu. Like don't go along it'll grow to the size of the aquarium. It's just easier to add juveniles and then grow them out within your little ecosystem because they'll kind of pair off to figure out who's going to breed with. When you have that full adults going in, they're already in the mode of like, hey man, we got to get this done before the end of days comes in. So that's kind of the issue with adding the full-blown adult fish. Oftentimes people are wondering why a lot of stores and stuff carry juveniles and things. It's actually one of the big reasons for it is that it takes time to grow them out, but the big benefit for us, the people that would be buying those fish, is that if we are adding the juveniles, they're going to actually kind of grow up within the ecosystem and do well. And by the time they're full grown, they've kind of sorted out the pecking order, it's just the same with getting a flock of chickens. You want to start out with chicks. It's really hard to add in full-grown adults to full-grown adult chickens. It's pretty hard on them. As you guys know, we've been going through, had to remedicate our chickens again the other day. We're busting out. This time we actually had to inject them. We're doing our best to save our flock from the mites and lice. It's actually kind of gross, man. You talk about lice, it's like, ugh. But the mites are the big part. We do have some rodent activity from next door and some broken down cars in the place next door. So I'm assuming that it probably has something to do with that is where it's coming from. I've done my best to kind of pest control, but I can't like just go into their yard and like do stuff over there. They just have 2 older cars parked back there, and it seems to be the nesting area. They've been working on it. I've seen them kind of working on it, and so it has been getting a lot better, but we've had to medicate our flock. And to those of you out there that are kind of freaked out about taking care of chickens and stuff like that, first of all, I will throw a caveat on here. Yes, I was vegan for 4.5. I didn't make it to the 5-year mark, but 4.5 years I was vegan, so I understand where you're coming from, although I'm not vegan now. And normally we wouldn't medicate the chickens like this, but because it's our flock, we are taking care of them. And it is honestly it's a big learning experience for us to be able to try and medicate a flock. But typically in a farm situation, they would have been harvested, which unfortunately means they would have been turned into dinner chickens, if you know what I'm saying. And that would have been the way that we would have eradicated it in a farm situation to get past the illness, because we would have hatched out new chickens from these same chickens. But we don't have a rooster here, fertilized eggs or anything like that. So, and we did make the decision that we do the best we can to grow as much food as we can. And we unfortunately can't eat the eggs after they've been medicated. So it's between a 60 and 90-day period that we're going to have to be composting their eggs. But Vicky and I made the decision that we were going to treat them, see if we can't get past it, learn some of the pitfalls of going through the treatments and things, and make a real evaluation for ourselves. So this is that point where we're actually working through that and coming up with a real experience perspective from it, and just learning exactly how much it's going to cost, how long it's going to take, the ups and downs. The first treatment that we did was oral, so we did an oral treatment. We went through that. We tried the sort of, what's the word? Natural treatment. That natural treatment was not good enough. We actually lost a chicken from that. It just got overwhelmed and it just wasn't good. And then we tried oral, and now we've actually injected them, and we have one more 2 weeks from now. We're gonna inject them again with some more aggressive treatment and stuff. So we'll see how it goes. Wes Barshinger says, just get a new flock. Yes, I just got done explaining that's what you would normally do. We would normally hatch out new eggs. We would hatch out a round of chicks and basically start over would be the easiest thing. But we're kind of learning what this would exactly cost, how long it will exactly take. And we love our chickens. One of them's a real old grandma chicken. She doesn't even lay eggs anyhow. People are asking, can they eat their own chickens, or can they eat their own eggs? Yes, but you don't want to encourage that behavior, because they will start doing it all the time. They're really not the brightest creatures in the world, but they will, if you teach them to eat eggs, they will eat eggs. The one way that you can realistically do feed them the eggs is to fully cook them. You can fully cook them, and then it essentially turns it into something else. So not a big deal. People are saying we need a quarantine coop. We actually completely rebuilt the whole coop from the old one to the new one. So yes, there's been quite a work going in to it. But like I said, this isn't typically what we would do. Typically what we would do is harvest the chickens and raise up a new flock. That's normally what we would do. We are in a position right now to just go ahead and try to do to solve this problem that way, and for this way, and see how it goes. And then I'll be able to pass it on to you guys and go like, you can, or actually it wasn't that bad, kind of thing. We have a super chat from Barbara Jackson, says, appreciate it. Appreciate it. What you do before you shade it. Appreciate it. Dad jokes coming in from Barbara's husband. Thank you very much. We got a tip jar from Steve. Thank you very much. A little $10 Saturday special. And a tip jar from Andrew Crankshaw. Thank you very much. Digging it. Liking it very much. Currently, HD is asking any ducks. We got ducks in the family, but not ducks here. We will have some, but the last thing I want to do is add to the flock while we're treating something that can be passed on from the bird to the bird. Candy Overall says, it's Saturday. Any aphids in the browse today? No. But we will be out there working later. Vicky is actually out there planting some more nasturtiums and some beans and a couple other things, and we'll shoot a quick video on that. That'll probably come out tomorrow. We'll be doing another little garden bonanza where you guys can check out and see how the garden's coming along. Got some new beds out there. Got some new dirt in. Got a couple other things going on. Just some interesting garden type stuff. We'll probably throw that out, a little vloggy garden vlog for you. Yeah, so then we'll move on with some other stuff. Turtle Girl says, do you often have broody hens? Have you ever hatched eggs under them? We rarely do we have broody chickens, but the easiest way to get chickens to stop brooding is, this sounds crazy, but dunk them and give them an ice bath. You get a big bucket, fill it up with some ice water, and just get them in there. It just brings their temperature down and they stop brooding. It is violent. It's not violent. It's just crazy. It's wild. Violent's not the right word. It's wild. But it will bring their temperature down and relax them. I've never hatched eggs underneath a chicken before. It's way easier to do in an incubator. Hatching underneath a chicken I wouldn't even bother to try it personally. I would just do it in an incubator. I could keep it at the right temperature, and it doesn't have to stress out the chicken. The chicken doesn't have to stay there. And more often than not, the chickens don't stay. Even if they are fertilized eggs, they just leave their eggs and wander off because they want to eat food. It's the main thing that chickens are up to, is eating food. That's what they want to do. That's pretty much 99% of their day that they're doing. Let's see. Crystal, where'd it go? Do fish eat cooked chicken eggs? Yes. Cooked chicken eggs can come in handy for fish stuff. So you want egg yolk. You don't want the white. You don't need the white at all. But egg yolk fully cooked. And then you break it up into some fish tank water, and you make a little bit of a slurry. It's fantastic for fry food. But watch out if you overdo it, because it might end up smelling like some stank eggs if you're not careful. You know what I mean? You got to be a little bit careful with that. But I find that to be very useful for my fry as a fry food that was super easy to get together and always have on hand. Mayhem's Tank says, hey, Joel, thanks for the advice on my algae problem. I've been doing water changes for a week, and now it's getting better. I appreciate it. Thanks also, Corey, for pimping my filter. Oh, kudos, man. Did you pimp your filter? Digging it. I really do like that. I like to pimp my filter stuff. Let's see. Bar Aquarium says, Corvus, have you tried putting lime down? We tried lime, diatomaceous earth. We've done quite a bit. We've done quite a bit of stuff, yes. Garlic spray, a whole bunch of things. So it seems the garlic spray, the concentrated garlic spray, is working quite well. And it's something I can use in the garden because I do have, I can't remember what those little tiny green caterpillars are. It's somewhere in my head, but they're the little tiny bright lime green caterpillars. They're not caterpillars, but they look like caterpillars. Whatever. Those little busters came in and messed with my broccoli rob. So, little garlic spray in there. Got rid of them little buggers. And I was doing some research a little while ago about some of the night crawlers that I added the other day. And I realized that the worm gestation period is so much longer than I was expecting. I was expecting them to be like popping out babies like in no time. Unfortunately, it's a much longer time period than I thought it was going to be. So next year, maybe I'll be pulling out some awesome worms. Well, end of the summer. So I've got 120 days, really, before I could probably get some stuff out of there. And I don't even know when that is. What is that? October, September, October? November? It's going to be cold out. Maybe there's fishing in November. So I'll look forward to having a bunch of worms in there in like November and stuff. Oh. Danielle Scary with the... Is that Australian? 375 super chat. That's a very odd number, but I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Says, don't let the chickens cross the road. Ooh, I like it. Barbara Jackson says they are caterpillars if they're budworms. If it's the larvae of a small gray moth. All right. It might be budworms. I'm not sure. But these little tiny little guys were the suspect. Or I've got a bunny rabbit around here. And it very well could be a bunny rabbit. It just crossed my mind that there's probably a bunny rabbit sneaking into our garden. Because I seen a bunny rabbit a while ago. I was trying to think. I was like, bird? Could have been a bird. But we've had those tiny worms before. We've had those budworms before. I was thinking that's what they were. But I'm thinking now it might be a rabbit. Okay, no one's around right now. Where's the dog? There's no dogs around. There's no Vicky around. I don't know. But either way, garden's going great, and we'll be doing some of that stuff fairly soon. Devin Peppers, right? Devin Peppers. Got it. How long should I cycle my 45-gallon with a sponge filter and AquaClear 70? How long should I cycle the aquarium when the only existing aquarium I have is a 5-gallon tank with a top fin filter? I am very confused by that question, but you look up the nitrogen cycle and test your water, and when you've completed the cycle is when it's completed. I can't tell you if it's 50 days, 10 days, 5 days. It's different amount of time for everybody, but you definitely want to be testing your water and checking out what's going on. Once the nitrite drops down to 0, you pretty much got yourself a cycle. I can't tell you how long it's going to be, though. It could take forever. I don't know. You have to test to know. Rabbit just wants a snack. Yeah, I bet the rabbit does. But I just thought about it that I did see a rabbit the other day, but it was the other day, like 2 months ago. The other day, so it wasn't like, dude, can't you remember Tuesday? And I'll be like, yeah, I can't remember Tuesday. It was like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. There was just a rabbit out there. I'd completely forgotten about it until I was talking on the show here, and then suddenly it popped into my head like, oh, wait a minute. There was a rabbit. I don't know. We'll see. Ian says, yeah, you can actually starve to death eating only rabbit. That's true if you're only eating rabbit. It's kind of difficult to only ever eat rabbit, though. The only thing. It would be kind of difficult to put that together. Let's see here. We got to move along on the show and go to the Patreon questions. We got to make sure that, hold on, come on. Which button is it? Is it this one? Is it this one? Why aren't you working? Give me the preview. There it is. Scene 5. Oh my gatos. Check this out. Our first post today comes from Charles Wheeler. Digging it. I love this. This is great. It's one of the greatest moments in time in any fish keeper, in any fish keeper's whatever, any career, life, the world. I don't know. This is pretty much the best moment here when you finally get to egg laying time. It's gonna be a full-on spawn. I love the spawn time. This is my favorite time of the year. You know what I mean? You got them rams doing some spawning action. Mom and dad are spawning like pros. Loving that. And if you can take a couple of fish and turn them into a couple of fish and get your next generation going, that's awesome. I love the rams. Maybe someday I'll do rams again. Maybe. I just had them for such a long time, and I had a lot of disappointment with them at one point in time, and I just was like, yeah, can't go back there. But I got my apistos, which are pretty close, and but it's always great to see them spawning. Mr. Steven Scogland coming in. He's got a post here. Rack number 1 is set up. 33 longs. Water test this week. Things are coming along slowly, but surely. I'm digging it, my man. I love to see, I had a post where somebody was they were criticizing me for trying to tell people to not DIY. And I would like to get a little bit of clarity here. I would like people to DIY. Yes, do it yourself. Learn how to do some stuff. I'm 100% in favor of that. I don't know why I would be posting hundreds and hundreds of videos on the YouTube if I was somehow against that. I love people being able to build their own projects, learn how things operate, how to put things together, give you guys the easiest tutorials that I can. Some of them are good, some of them are terrible. I'm getting better as the years go on here. I think that my quality of show is getting a little bit better, or maybe I'm just losing my mind. I don't know. I'm in 100% a fan of people learning and doing the DIY stuff. What I'm not a fan of is people doing the DIY stuff because they're motivated by the idea of saving money, okay? That is the problem. More often than not, 99 times out of 100, most of the people are approaching me. They want to build something because they want to save money. That's not really going to work out that way. The people that really save money on building their own things are the experts. You know, the guy who works on the CNC machine at the shop and is able to make his own aluminum parts is the guy who saves money working on his car because he makes his own parts at work or whatever. Yes, it is possible to save money doing DIY, but typically it's the experts that save money doing things DIY, and rarely is it the unexperienced amateur is the one that saves money. I would like the unexperienced amateur to go into doing some projects yourself, some learning how to do stuff, with the attitude that you are doing it so that you can learn how to do something. That's how you need to go into it. And the expectation that you're just going to save money right out the gate is what leads people to not want to do DIY projects anymore, because they go, well, I could have bought the filter for $59 and doing it myself cost $85, right? And then that's discouraging to most people. And I would find that discouraging to me also if somebody was giving me the advice that I'm going to totally just... everyone's just going to save money if they do their own thing. But I think everyone out there should get into DIY stuff, but you should look at it like I'm going into doing some schooling stuff. And this is exactly how Steven is doing it here. He's learning how to do these things. It is taking time. And I know that it's easy to feel discouraged because this project is taking a lot of time, but I will 100% remind everybody out there that we all start at the bottom, we work our way to the top, we gain experience by doing and learning while we're doing, and this is exactly what's going on as I point the wrong direction, like I'm learning right now. Yeah! it's inverted, it's backwards. Like Steven has been doing, he put up his own drywall, he did his own wiring here, he's building a cement block stand. He's got his 33 longs going in. He's actually water testing him. He's doing all this great stuff. He's learning how to paint and everything. And this is amazing to see. Now, to sit down and do the math and go, well, hey, man, how much did this cost to do? Let's just say a random number. It might have cost him $3,000 to do it. And it was like, how much would a pro have done it for? Like maybe it was throw the walls up, put in a couple of outlets, be out of there in a day, and it was a $2,800 project or something, right? It's like, dude, you would have saved $200 or whatever. It cost you more. Everybody makes mistakes and stuff like that, but this is a giant learning process that as Steven moves on, let's say Steven's 30 years old, he's got probably 40, 50 more years of doing projects like this and moving along and living a life and stepping forward and stepping forward and stepping forward. And it's going to be awesome in the long run. Just imagine, like, if his projects are this dope right now, 20 years from now, his projects are going to be like, oh my God, I didn't even know anybody could do that. You know? And then people will be like, I don't understand. He's just like a wizard. But we here, the Oceaneers here would be like, I remember Steve when he was making his stands out of cement blocks. Cinder blocks. And we'd all go, that guy's doing great. He's doing awesome. And I would encourage everyone else to be going more into that mindset when you do step into this adventure to start and learn stuff. You know, if you're an accountant out there, you didn't start just being an accountant for big corporations with zero experience. You probably had some learning. You had some learnings to do. Same thing with building filters or building LED lights or building stands or carpentry. All this kind of stuff takes time, but you got to just take that first step. But know that it is going to cost some money. Don't go into it just your plan to save money. One issue I have with this stand is it seems like we are missing the center brace from this picture. There should be some kind of bracing right where the center brace is for bridging this gap right here. And I assume Steven's probably got that handled. But I'm just going to mention that. So I have mentioned it. And then we could never in the future go like, well, he didn't mention it. I'll be like, yeah, I did. It was episode 702 at the 40-minute mark, right? Peter Berlinski wrote in asking a question about water flow. Hey, Joel, just a little idea. Could you do a little video on the importance/benefits of water flow in an aquarium, how it affects fish, plants, algae, temperature, etc.? Cheers from the land down under, Pete. Pete, this is exactly one of the things that, this is like a perfect example right here of how you go about, like, asking me to do a video. This is pretty much just, this is the cookie cutter right here. Hey, buddy, do you think you could do a video on this topic? I got some questions, and maybe you could answer some of them. And you'd be right. I could probably answer some of them. And I've added it to the whiteboard. We got to do a water flow video. When's it going to be? I don't know. I can't tell you. Not going to make any promises, but it is on my whiteboard, on my to-do list, and I will, as always, get to the end of the to-do list and start back at the top again. So I will get to it. And thank you, Peter. Thank you for your support, and thanks for the awesome question. It's a great way to throw it in there. Johan has thrown in a picture here, a new pic for the hobby, the freshwater dolphin fish. I got to tell you, I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of that, the freshwater dolphin. What a cute fish. It had escaped my mind that it existed. It escaped the forefront of my decision-making part of my mind here, that it existed, but boy howdy do I love that fish. It is a fantastic fish. I love it, and that is awesome to see. And I'm also kind of looking around here in the background a little bit. This looks like a lily leaf. Awesome. I can't tell what this is right here, but this looks like a little bit of Valsneria, some Subwassertang, and that looks like, this looks like petrified wood right here. And these are all good signs that the rest of this tank is probably pretty darn dope. Thank you, Johan. Definitely appreciate you sending that in. Mike Faulkner sends in a, God, this looks like an HD picture. You guys can tell how bright this is. I'm wondering what the saturation settings is on this picture. It's fantastic. He says, you guys finally pulled me away from African cichlids, going heavily planted with guppies. I'm going to say platies, because Pleiades, everyone freaks out. Corridors, tetras, and some fancy plecostomus. But more importantly, plants. Easy green and a lot more plants on the way. I'm digging it. If anybody follows me on the Instagram, you guys noticed my Easy Green post from earlier today. If you don't have any Easy Green, you better get some. It's a great fertilizer. And I will remind everyone out there that it does say on the bottle, this is for low light, medium light planted tanks. It is designed to be an easy fertilizer. If you have some giant monstrosity with all of the high-tech gadgets, doodads, blah, blah, blahs, don't send me a message about how Thrive is a better fertilizer. I know, for that setup, it's better. But for us regular people that don't want to be freaking out and living wildly on the edge of a cliff of disaster with our tanks just like going 100 million miles an hour, Easy Green's the way to go, man. I've been testing it out. I'm loving it. It's working fantastic for me. I'm actually only doing like 60% of the recommended dose, and it is working fantastically for me. So I'm loving it, and Mike, I bet you're gonna love it too. Loving these. This looks like a little Java fern action over here, and if you got some Java ferns, I'm a fan. What about this Valsneria back here? It's not Valsneriaing yet. It's gonna grow up and around and back down into crazy wild circle. It's always been so hard for me to keep a rein on Valsneria. That's the only reason I don't have it in my tanks. It grows so long for me and just chaotic that I find it wildly difficult to deal with. Getface came on here and posted, "This is the talk from the other day. We were talking about LEDs and how they don't show up properly in on video and whatnot. It's just a follow-up to Monday night stream on your discussion about LED lights. I've even made a little diagram to help. The reason that LED lights create banding when viewing through a video camera is due to the brightness being controlled by what is called a pulse width modulation, or PWM for short." Okay, you super nerds out there, as I was trying to kind of dumb it down for us regular folks, I was saying like the refresh light, essentially, the refresh rate on the light is what ends up causing problems with the video portion. It makes it all crazy. And Getface posted up an awesome full-on nerd out layout here of exactly what is going on there. If you guys are interested in that LED stuff, this is a great little article that he put together, and legit loving it. 2 thumbs up. I just love that post. It was great. Just showing you, letting you know how it's going to go. Vince Grippa, one of our local electricians. I wonder what union he's in. I would like to know. I'd like to hear from Vince and let us know which union is, so we can shout it out. It'd be kind of fun. Is it the IBEU 359 or something? But rock, paper, scissors for who gets to glue the next stick of PVC. I've crawled under some excavators in my day, which is what those tracks are there from an excavator. I would almost I don't know. I might be apprehensive about this one. But then again, I might have been working at this job site for quite a while and be like, no, it's going to be fine. But I might have some apprehensive feelings about getting under here. But if you do get crushed by an excavator, it's a pretty quick out. They weigh an astounding amount. Johan was asking, how come some plants absorb nutrients through their leaves? Is it poor substrate? Is it possible to see by their leaves size? It is not possible to see with your bare eyes. With your bare eyes, my guy. It's not something you're going to be able to pick up. A lot of plants will bring in, gosh, I'm going to get murdered if this is wrong. But essentially, I think it's the stoma. Gosh, I'm going to sound like an idiot. But essentially, plants have a pore. They have a pore in them for exchange for the gas bubbles to come out, and a lot of times they're able to grab in a nutrient that they're looking for through that. So think of it like skin pores that we have, like oils and things and stuff that go on with our skin. Plants essentially have a skin that they're able to allow some nutrients to come in and out, and that's basically just out of necessity. If they're not able to grab things from their roots, they'll grab them from the water column because, hey, battle of the fittest, and when it comes to plants, it's just a ruthless battle all the time. So they will just do what they got to do to get their nutrients wherever they can. If it's floating around in the water column, they've adapted to handle that. If it's coming from the roots where they really want it to be, boy, they're ready for that too. So I would just think of it as it's just another way that your plants are going to be able to feed. It's not necessarily a good or a bad thing, because you can have really, really, really long-term growth with just dosing the water column if it's something that you can handle, making sure that you're on the ball about it. I've seen it many, many times out there. A lot of people are really successful with just handling the water column and not even worrying. I remember some local guy out here had 100% inert. CJ Black says stomata. Yes, I think I said stoma. I almost always get that wrong. So stomata is actually what it is. Thank you, CJ. But I knew a guy locally here that was using like glass marbles as his substrate, and he's like, "Look, it works." I'm like, yep, technically for that guy, it definitely did work. It just turns out he was just using nothing but liquid stuff all the time. So it was like, okay, yeah, technically you could bring the burden down on yourself just a little bit and go on with some good substrate, and it might have been better for him. But that was just the way that he was doing. He liked the aesthetic side of it, which a lot of humans make a lot of our considerations with our aquariums and stuff are the aesthetics are almost always the reason we make decisions, scraping off algae and stuff like that. Fighting the algae. Gotta fight the algae fight, you know what I'm saying? All right. Next post comes in from Niels Hansen. Says, "Hey Joel, picture of my new buried blue tiger OE." Okay, orange-eyed blue tiger. Got a little bit backwards, not a big deal. Do you know how to call them? Has been told that tigers are hard to get a pure line with. He's asking about culling. English is second language here, so trying to kind of decipher the sentence a little bit. He's wondering how to cull and keep their line bred. It has been a long time for tigers for me, but the just remember, like the orange-eyed blue tigers, you're almost never gonna get the orange eyes back. It's just it's such a variation that is essentially something that you get like as a one. It's a one generational variation. It isn't normally passed on to their offspring. Their throws almost never do. So culling them, yes, I do know how to cull them, and it is very difficult to sort of explain in a quick way. But you basically, here's the easy way to explain it for most people out there. It's a great way to go about it. Would be the ugly shrimp, sell them off. Take them out of your tank. The ones that don't have the characteristics that you want, take them out of your tank, sell them to somebody. Sell them off, pass them along down the line. You don't need to kill them. You don't need to feed them to anything. You don't need to do anything mean like that. Or set up another tank and just put the ugly shrimp in another tank, or sell them off. I typically would sell them off. Just be like, hey, these are my cheap shrimp. These aren't my award-winning shrimps. These aren't my $100 million shrimps. I'd be like, hey, these are my low-grade shrimps. Who wants them? $3 a piece. I've got 20. What up? That's basically what I would do. Sell them off, recoup a little bit of my cost, and keep breeding the attractive ones. Just keep going that way. That is the easiest way to do it for regular day-to-day people. Would just be, find the nicest looking ones that look exactly the way you want them to go, and then just keep propagating that as you move forward. That's going to be the simplest way to do it. Whoop. Moving on. Oh, Niels Hansen, what's up? Color Madness in the Neocaridina tank. Yes, he's got a Skittles tank here. We were basically talking about this earlier, answering some of the YouTube questions from you guys in the chat. This tank right here, this looks to be basically a Caridina shrimp right here. That is the wild coloration. So you can see that speckly brown little bugger. As these shrimp all breed together, this is what will happen right here, is this brown speckly. Everybody will eventually turn brown speckly wild looking, which isn't a bad thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing. They just aren't worth that much as far as the monetary value goes, but you might be super proud of your brown wild cherry shrimp that look awesome the way you might like them that way. So it really is just a personal taste of how you want to do it, how you want to breed your shrimp, what you want them to look like. But beware to the people out there that if you are mixing these together, you will end up with the wild variations as they breed. And Neocaridina breed like crazy. Remember, out in the wild, they are a food source, so they breed like crazy. Let's see. Did Justify win all three? I'm not sure. Boop, 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 boop. Let's catch up with the live chat here. Oh, Triple Crown winner. People talking about a Triple Crown winner? I wonder. I don't follow horse racing I never really did. Just peripherally. Like I, turn on ESPN and they would like talk about it every once in a while. Never really followed the horse racing, so I don't know. Somebody could have won the Triple Crown, and I won't know until I listen to the news later. Benjamin Hall is asking, is there a difference from the Fluval C 3.0 and the Plant 3.0? I just bought the C from Corey's store for my reef tank, but if I don't like it, can I use it on my planted tank? There is a difference between the two. Yes, there's a fairly big difference, actually, all the actinic lighting, all that kind of stuff. But from my understanding of the Fluval C 3.0, you can use it on a planted aquarium. You're just going to have to turn off the channels, and you're going to want to stay. I don't want to be misquoted here, but there are basically two channels on the Fluval C that you can use as a planted tank light. Though, if it were me and I really, really, really didn't want to use the Fluval light anymore on the reef, I would probably use it like on a refugium project on the sump. I would use it for the sump light or something like that. But just a bit of a teaser here. I will be utilizing Fluval lights on my reef coming up. So I would stay tuned for that and see how that project pans out. Danielle, scary. He got a fancy post here, flexing his DIY skills, right? Went ahead and threw on the black background. Not 100% sure why you're using acrylic paint for the background. If it works for you, awesome. Acrylic paint almost always does not work very well in this application. It will crack and flake. Acrylic is not designed for the high humidity and the temperature variation between the air and the water. So I wouldn't be shocked to find out if this doesn't hold up very long. What I recommend as a liquid paint is the Plasti Dip. That would be the best one out there that is available at Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever your big hardware store is. I'm not sure what they call a hardware store in Europe or whatever, but the Plasti Dip is the one that I would recommend in the future. I wouldn't go like scraping this off and worrying about it. It might be 6 months, it might be a year by the time it really may or may not have a problem or whatever. But if you do really, really, really want to use acrylic paint in the future, you're going to need an additive like this. I've actually got some back here. We lucked out. Preparation is key, right? Preparation H is key. Wait, don't talk like that on the live stream. That's ridiculous. Just making jokes, guys. But you're going to need something like this. Daniel Smith doesn't make this anymore. Just pay attention to the acrylic medium gloss. This one happens to be gloss. You can get matte, whatever finish you want. But you're going to need some acrylic medium. I would go with the heavy body if you're going to be doing it on the back of an aquarium because of that humidity and the temperature that we talked about earlier, and the adhesive nature for the glass surface. The glass surface isn't going to want to take acrylic paint on it. But if you are, you're going to have to get some of this from like an art supply store where you probably got that paint from, and you're going to have to do this. So a small jar of this normally costs about $8 to $10, so it's not crazy amount of money, but it's that's definitely what I would recommend in the future. Boom. So Danielle, if it's the only thing that you got and it's working, go with it. Like I said, I wouldn't freak out and like go try and take it off right now or anything like that. But in the future, with acrylic paint, you are going to need a little bit of additive to make sure that it holds up long enough. All right, and then here's the actual tank from Danielle. That's right, a custom 55 painted background, $4 well spent. Very happy with how it turned out. Just shows what a good background is cheaper than some ugly backgrounds, and it's even easier than trying to stick it to the glass, so don't be scared to give it a go. Just a little update for everyone. Love to know the people's ideas for plants in the tank. So Danielle's asking for some options on plants in the tank, and as you can see here, some people are responding to it. Anybody out there, go throw him some options of what he's looking in this custom. It is kind of a custom-sized 55. I'm still thinking that it is. It doesn't look like a standard. The standard. It doesn't look like the standard dimensions on the 55, but I would have to get the actual measurements. And it also looks like it's rimless, so that's no standard. That's no standard tank. Ooh, we got all text here from Haley Cox asking, I finally joined the Patreonizers. Oh, thank you. Finally joining the Patronizers. Thank you. Much appreciated. I've watched for years and asked lots of questions, but never financially stable enough. I had my daughter 3 years ago. Congratulations. That's awesome. It's great to hear about your three-year-old daughter. That's rad. But I'm going to make this work as Joel has helped me so much with my current ropefish project, and I'm excited to see both of my ropefish and Joel produce offspring and be happy and healthy. Love everything you do. #FishFame. #Caleb Rocks. Laters. Oddball Aquatics. Well, that's Oddball Aquatics is Haley Cox, same person. Aw, some possum. It's so cool to like. Thank you very much, man. I totally appreciate it, and I never really know how to say thank you well enough, other than showing up and doing the show and just working hard and try to bring you guys the best stuff I can. Coming in from Ollie, who, by the way, still has an awesome little avatar, and those little squishies that he sent in, or whatever, I can't remember what they're called, but they're those little octopus that his avatar is based on. They're so cute. They're so cute. I'm going to have to order one, I think. It says, think it's time to trim the Monte Carlo. Easy way to do it, or am I just going to spend the next week picking floating bits out? Now, this often, I used to get this question a lot when I used to do a lot of dwarf baby tiers and stuff like that. People would always ask, like, how do you trim that without creating a total disaster? And it's not the easiest thing in the world, but it's not the most difficult thing in the world either. What I recommend to people when it comes time to trim a carpeting plant like this would be to get, for instance, like a python, if you're going to have or a gravel vac, or just a vinyl hose or something like that. Hold that in your left hand or right hand, whichever hands one of them's going to do the cutting, the other one's going to do the suction. Turn your filters off, let things settle down, turn any kind of power heads off or anything that moves all the water around, and then go trimming along and have either your thumb over the vinyl hose, because I don't have a gravel. Well, I have a gravel vac somewhere, but I never really use that. I normally just use a hose, and just put your thumb over it, and then as you trim some off, you unplug the hose. Keep the suction on it, suck it all up, and send it on down the river. But just make sure that you aren't sending your Monte Carlo or anything like that into don't send it into your sink or your toilet or anything like that, because you can pollute the waterways with an invasive species. So don't do that. Always make sure you're running it into a net, collect it, and then put it into your compost bin outside, because you are responsible, right? We are responsible fish keepers here. But I'm loving this tank. I love this layout. And this big chunk of wood right here. Looking good. I'm digging it. Oh, sorry. I'm just going to stop the show and stare at your plants for a while, because I love them. I love them so much. Aquascaping is my thing. Here we go. We got a piece of advice coming in here hot. Ali-san Cowdopunk, what's up? I saw you in the chat earlier. I hope you're still here, because we're about to answer your question on this acrylic piece here. It says, hi, Joel. I have a question about my 240-gallon acrylic aquarium. In the bottom right-hand corner, it has what looks to be a crack. Pictures attached. which has been there since I received the tank. I bought it new from an acrylic tank manufacturer. The tank has been filled for about a week without issue, but I don't feel comfortable moving my fish until I get some feedback. If it's problematic left as it is there a way I can fill or repair the crack? The aquarium manufacturer has not been helpful in the least, so I'm seeking some fish fam wisdom. Thank you. Okay. Cowdo Punk, Ali San. Okay, first of all, this is the crack you get from dropping the corner. Every single time I've dropped a corner and gotten a crack, this is what it looked like. So somebody dropped it. Might not have been a big drop, but somebody dropped it like kadunk, like dropped it onto something or something like that. It landed on something, and this is almost always the crack you get. I would continue to pursue with the tank manufacturer if this was no fault of your own. If it is a fault of your own, I would continue to pursue with the acrylic manufacturer on what to do to maintain your warranty. I would love to give you 100 pieces of advice right now, but I'm assuming from your post here that you just bought this aquarium, the last thing you want to do is void the warranty as far as the manufacturer is concerned, because these can be really expensive builds. They cost a lot of money to get built, or even if you're just buying it that it's already has been built, it can cost a lot of money to it could cost a lot of money to get this thing replaced. And if you lose your warranty, this can be a big time deal. And you really wouldn't want to miss out on that. Now, if the tank manufacturer is not going to play ball with you and at least help you on what to do, then I don't know what to say other than to keep emailing, keep calling them and being like, look, I've got this crack. I need to get this addressed. That's what I would do. I mean, I would love to tell you like how to fill this, how to grind it, or how to repair it. But I would 100% continue with the continue pursuing with the manufacturer to be like, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do so that I don't void the warranty? Because oftentimes an acrylic tank comes with like a 30, 40, 50 year warranty, which is one of the awesome things about them. And if it has been cracked because it's been dropped, then I would definitely make sure that you're falling in line with what they want you to do so that you can keep it lasting a really long time. So I just would really want to avoid voiding the warranty. Johan sends in a picture of his, I never know how to say this right, gar. Now this is a gar, and this is gangster. This is a gangster fish, right? This is a gangster fish. This is about as gangster. You got any kind of alligator gar, like all up in your jammy. It's about as gangster as it gets. I don't even have a tank that could handle a gar. I mean, I could take a baby gar, but even my 240 is not big enough. You know, you need a giant tank for a gar, and I hope you got it because that's awesome. I would love to see one in progress, grow, and being taken care of for its whole life. Just be aware that they do turn into wild monsters. They'll bite people. They don't care. They don't care about nothing. As a matter of fact, I knew a guy that kept giant gars. He had like alligator gar. He had God, what else did he have? Well, I don't want to get too far off topic here, but he had the giant ones. I mean, they were like 10 foot in his store. He had like 10 of them in there. And they just had a giant book of all the pictures of the wounds from keeping those fish. And the main reason was people would come in and they'd be like, yeah, I want to get one of those and put it in my swimming pool. They'd be like, yeah, look at that book over there. And then so you thumb through and it's like Polaroid after Polaroid after Polaroid of like huge gashes in people's arms, missing fingers, gashes in people's legs and stuff like that. It was just gnarly. And then they'd be like, do you still want this fish? And they almost every, nope, don't want this fish. They'd be like, well, you can feed the fish. They'd be like, oh, cool. So it was pretty cool, but they are gangster fish, and I don't know if I'll ever have the facilities to deal with one. Johan says, guess what mysterious fish are these? My guess with this mysterious fish is archer fish. That's my guess. I've formally placed my guess, archer fish. That's my guess. We'll see what happens. We'll see if it shakes out, if I got it right or not. Hold on. Sorry, I hit it. Yeah. Carpet madness. Sorry, I had to message a famous aquascaper back. Sorry about that. Trying to book a guest. Hopefully, I can book this and do the tour. Big time. Big time. Hello? The knob on his speakers on the volume broke. What happened, Ian? What are you doing? Our next post is from Mike Howie. What's up, Mike? If you guys don't know, Mike, we hung out at the American Live Bears Association in Michigan and had a great time. And he's been working on his fish barn. It says, Pogostemon stellatus octopus gone buck wild. Haven't had a chance to trim it with the barn construction going on. Taking over about half of a 75-gallon tank. Started with 5 plant seeds from the coop. Ooh, he started out with 5 stems from the Aquarium Co-op, and he's got Pogostemon Chaos. As you guys know, I definitely recommend the Pogostemon stellatus octopus. I made a video about it just a little while ago. In case you guys want to go watch an edited video, you can do that. And I would recommend getting this plant for sure. It's I'm finally perfecting it to grow exactly the way that I want it to grow in my tanks. It's coming along quite well, and I'll definitely be getting you guys an update on that sometime soon. BC Fish Room sent in, if the new truck doesn't pan out, I can get you a sweet deal on this baby. And luckily, the exchange rate is in my favor as well. Well, look at that. That is the future of motorized transportation right there, if I've ever seen it. That's definitely the future. Does look like we are going to need a little bit of air, maybe a new tube in the front steering tire, right? The directional application tire. And back here in the drivetrain tire does also look like it does need a little bit of work. I am concerned about these the side bags. The saddle bags here do look a little bit plump from some kind of strange, they're full with something that kind of mystifies me. I don't know if there's a goat in there or a bushel of mayhem. I'm not 100% sure. And what is this strange rope right here? But other than that, yes, it definitely looks to be transportation wave of the future. Well, and also maybe like a chain guard should maybe be here. There's no guard on the exhaust either, so this is definitely gonna burn somebody's leg here. Yeah, I this thing is so futuristic that it just might be out of my price range. You know what I mean? With the power shocks on here on the forks, it's looking to be out of my price range. I guess, you know, especially after the insurance people just dragging my flopping body over the red hot coals. It might be out of my price range. We'll see how it works out, though. It's not great. It's not great. I'm not feeling good about the situation, but I shall lament about it some other time. I'm going to lament about it after I find out what's going on. Although at some point in time, I may tell you guys if it goes totally sideways. I might let you guys know exactly what's going on. Kelly Peterson sent in
a great post. These are looking to be some beautiful little really shrimps going here. Says, sorry, I've been AWOL of late. Depression is super hard. If you think you might have it, seek treatment. I've missed keeping up with Joel and all the rest of the squad. My shrimp are still chugging along, and I'm sneaking up on having a proper colony. I gave them some mulberry leaf the other day, and now I'm wondering if I could give it to them fresh. If I could give them fresh basil. Once I make pasta, I'm going to have leftover herbs, and wondered if I should give the shrimpies a bit before I freeze the leftovers. You know what? To be brutally honest with you, I don't know the answer for this. There oftentimes are some plants that can really negatively affect shrimp, and I just have not put very much research into exactly what I can and can't put in there. I have so much success with utilizing the things that I use that it just hasn't really come up that I'm going to be trying anything like this. So I can't recommend the basil, but maybe there is somebody has a research paper or something out there that we could find out. And I will mention here, because of this this statement right here, I do want to mention, depression is mind-bendingly difficult. Literally. I mean, that's just what it does. I do have it from time to time. You guys know that I have issues and stuff. It's one of the reasons I'm sober, It definitely helps out with all that. But I will tell you guys that if you do have depression and you can seek out treatment, go for it. But my statement is this. If you think somebody has depression, reach out to them. That is your job. If you're all right, it's your job to reach out to somebody who might be having a problem. It's not the person's that's having a problem job, okay? Yes, I encourage anyone to go out and get treatment if you can. But if I'm encouraging anything, I want to encourage the community to, at the very least, send out a message, give a phone call to somebody you haven't talked to in a long time. Send out a text, send out a Facebook message. Post an old picture from the person you haven't seen in a long time. Like, there are things that could be done here. That's the job of us normal people. I try to do that once a day. Am I normal? Am I normal? Did I just say I was normal? I'm sorry. I apologize for that. Everyone knows that I'm ridiculously abnormal, which is I feel normal, okay? But it is our job to be able to reach out to some people, right, if we're able. Licks Nibble says, rest in peace, Anthony. Yes, those of you that follow me on Facebook, Anthony Bourdain was one of the few heroes that I kind of had left on my list. Robin Williams took his own life, and that was a huge blow to what I felt was somebody that I could emulate in my future. I always felt that, like, somebody like Robin Williams, like, maybe I'd be able to put something together like that. That was a huge blow. Chris Cornell took his own life last year. As I mentioned, I've mentioned a few times, Chris Cornell was somebody that I could look up to. I worked at a restaurant for a really long time that people would constantly talk about. Chris Cornell worked there. Chris Cornell worked there. You could make it too. And now Anthony Bourdain he was a writer, traveler, former chef with drug and alcohol problems, chaotic past, and all that kind of stuff. And I really, I talk about something like this, and then of course we get a post from some troll. I don't know. Somebody banned that. I don't have time right now. But Anthony Bourdain was somebody that I could definitely look at. Was somebody that I could look at and look up to and go, if I work hard, some of my writing could probably get published. If I work hard, I could probably, make some kind of TV show. if I work hard, if I keep my life together, I could make positive changes in the world and move the dial somehow in the direction moving forward. And it has affected me a lot. I'm sort of like in denial right now. That's just where I'm at right now. Where I'm at right now is sort of just, it's affecting me, but I'm sort of just don't really believe it. It just doesn't seem like a thing that's real right now. Still, a couple days later. And I'm sure at some point in time, I'm going to get incredibly sad about it. And then I'm going to end up having to move on from it, and I'll be going through those stages and stuff. But this is 100% an example of why I was saying what I was saying before, is that if you have the ability to reach out, just go do it a little bit every day. You don't have to go completely crazy and start drum circle kumbaya meeting of the minds or anything like that. But it's our job to be when we're able to reach out and stuff. And I've known way too many people that have committed suicide. I've known way too many people that died early. I've known way too many people that it's a giant long list. And I just honestly feel it's our spot to reach out here and there when we can. And so let's keep doing it. Let's keep doing it. And somebody asked me a while back, one of the reasons why I do this show is because this is a chance for me to reach out to some people that don't necessarily have the ability to be reached out to. Do you have agoraphobia? Are you freaked out of going outside, or you have depression or whatever you got going on? And this is something that is an hour or an hour and a half or 2 hours or whatever, kind of escapism, entertainment, learning, whatever you want to call it. It's why I want to keep doing it, and I plan on it. And it's because of people like Kelly Peterson on the Patreon that are allowing me to keep working hard and keep moving forward on this stuff. And do I want to get a show on CNN like Anthony Bourdain? Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah, I do. I don't think that there's a route that CNN's just going to come knock down my door and do it. I think YouTube is going to be the platform that we're going to be able to produce that on, So I'm working hard at doing this, and I'm going to keep working hard at it, and I hope it's going to keep getting better and better for everybody. And I do plan on getting better and better. I'm going to work hard at it to try and bring 5% of what Bourdain brought via his travel channel and the CNN shows and stuff like that. And hopefully, I'm not saying I'm going to fill his shoes at all. I'm not even remotely saying that. But is there something that I could do to help move the dial a little bit? That's just what I'm trying to do. 122 people here today. Hopefully I made your day a little bit better. Kevin Keener writing in. Picky eater that lives food. I think that's supposed to be loves food. What advice would you give a picky eater that loves and can appreciate the art of cooking but doesn't necessarily care for a lot of flavors some restaurants are going for in these times? The advice that I would give here, would be to step out from, like, I would order something from a restaurant and be like, don't even tell me what it is. I don't want to know. I just want to check it out. I want to, I don't know how you could put that together. Maybe your wife could do that for you. Maybe your kid could do that for you. Maybe a friend of yours could take you out. Maybe some guy named me, Kevin Keener, and I could go out. Or maybe he could just come down here and we could experiment cooking on some stuff because Kevin's been to my house. You're allowed to go to my house. It's all good. So maybe we could figure something out, Kevin, that we could maybe just do some culinary madness while we're here. And we could just try some stuff. But if I was to recommend somebody that was going out, I would go to a restaurant that has really good, has some decent reviews, has a long-standing tradition of being a good, well-run restaurant, go there and try something that you've never tried before, but in the way of like, I want to try something that's really popular here, but I don't want to know what it is. Don't tell me what it is. Just bring it out. I got $18.95. Bring me something good that's $18.95. I want to eat dinner. And you know what? If they got terrible servers, waiters, waitresses, whatever you want to call them, the wait staff, if they have a terrible wait staff, they should be able to get that for you and make it happen. But if they don't, then just leave. Go somewhere else. But that's the advice that I would go, but also baby steps, man. You got to definitely culinary baby steps, or just jump off the pier into the ocean. Preferably, I'm not saying go jump in the ocean. I'm saying you could either baby step your way to learning some new things, or just jump into the ocean. I prefer to just dive into the deep end and go crazy and try something I've never even remotely had before, which is pretty rare and few and far between at this point. I don't have a ton of there's not a ton of things left that I haven't tried at this point, but I'm going to keep trying them for sure. If I ever see anything that I haven't tried, I normally just go for it. But you could always make them baby steps. You could always make baby steps. You can order sides of things. That is a pretty accommodating way to go about it. Another way to go about it would be like, go to a restaurant and order like 5 appetizers or 4 appetizers or 3 appetizers, or maybe 2, maybe one that you know you like, and one, I don't know, I'm going to give it a shot. And you could definitely do that. Normally cheap small plates, you could go like that. Or though you could also find oftentimes during like some areas in Western Washington, this does happen, and so this is kind of directly speaking to this area specifically. I would go to one of the food truck cook-offs. If you've ever been to those before, they basically rally a whole bunch of food trucks in like a big giant parking lot, like a mall parking lot or something like that, and you can go walk around and try a bunch of small plates and stuff from food trucks and things. So you might be able to find some experimental stuff that would be pretty cool. And the food trucks, they're not reaching super far. They're trying to please people with fairly simple kind of recipes and stuff like that, because they are cooking out of a truck. Elias Garcia Vargas. What's up, Elias? How you doing? Says, I heard in one of the live streams that you're headed to the Bay Area in California. Are you planning on doing a meetup? I will be in San Francisco next weekend. It is a Vicky and I little mini micro vacation. We had a bunch of airline vouchers saved up, so we're just taking a little trip down there. That won't be a meetup, but maybe a week or 2 or something, or 3 weeks after that or something, I'll be probably taking a little road trip. So I would definitely keep everybody posted on that. I don't have anything ironed out, but if I do, yes, there will be a stop and hopefully do some meetups. The easiest way to do that would be to contact, like via the Patreon or anything like that. You can contact and be like, hey, I got a fish club in Willamette Valley, and we meet on these days, and is there a way we could work this out, blah, blah, blah. That has come up, and I hope to be in Oregon fairly soon, and we'll see how that works out. I was looking at the schedule and see if we might be able to figure something. We got a post here from Vince Grippa, our electrician buddy from earlier. Says, this is what you like to see at the end of the H3H3 live stream. Mad props to the H3H3 guys. I love 90% of what they do. I don't love it all, but some of it. But most of it I definitely do. Cast of characters on there, plus the interviews that they get are pretty fantastic. Some of them are not. But look at this. H3, 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 H3. Real fish talk. What up? Featuring yours truly, the Corby. Corvus. Excuse me. Getting a little hoarse. I've been talking for an hour and a half nonstop. So Pamela Earlywine posted in. So Wednesday, my phone alarms and warnings started going nuts. Tornado Warning, extreme. Tornado was on the ground north of town, and its predicted path was downtown Laramie, around the area of the college at approximately 6:15 p.m. This is crazy. You guys got to go to the Patreon and check out that link. I think there's something up there. No, that was probably the link that takes you to the video. Crazy. Glad to hear that Pamela's okay. Hey, man, don't go losing the computer we crowdfunded for you, 54 Punchy. If you don't know, Pamela Earlywine is 54 Punchy, who we did the fundraiser and got her computer together and stuff, which also is probably a good deal because she got the warnings and didn't get sucked up by the tornado because her computer was probably working, I'm guessing. Although it says phone alarms, but either way, whatever, you know what I mean. Either way, don't lose the computer. Save the computer. No, save your art, Pamela. And if you haven't seen Pamela's art, check it out. Get a second mortgage in your house and send it to her and buy some of her paintings. They are awesome, bros. They are awesome. Lord Stark. Lord Stark. There we go. Have you ever done a cool water tank? If so, is there anything special you need to consider besides stocking that is different from a warm water tank? Any plants that thrive in cool water? There are some things you need to consider. It is more difficult to get CO2 into the water column because it's colder, whatever. But oxygen is higher, so that works out pretty well. Low temperature plants, Kabamba comes to mind. Any of the Java ferns are going to be fantastic for a lower water, 60 to 68 degree tank. I've done cold water tanks before. I like them. It's just not going to work in my application right now, but that essentially is where the pond is going to come into play. So, but any kind of pond plants are going to be fantastic because pond plants can handle those colder temperatures. They're always working pretty good for that. Hyacinth, whatnot. Those are going to be great. There's a couple of that just off the top of my head, those will all work great. Kabamba, Java fern, hyacinth, pond plants. Java moss can get coldish. Can't freeze, though. It's not good. But yeah, there's quite a few. I would definitely look into whatever you got for goldfish stocking near you. Vince, again. Vince is our huge contributor here. Come on, guys. Saying the Devil's Hope pupfish is a good example of fish inbreeding and how it really does not affect them like other species. The species has lived in isolation for over 1,000 years in a pond called Devil's Hole in Death Valley, California. You got to check this out, you guys. This is in response to our long talk about the inbreeding in fish. Go here to the Patreon, click the link, and be like Brandon Soltanovich, Ian Norris, and Wes, who became patronizers today. Thank you very much, you guys. I know that we have some tremendous goals I'm trying to hit here. I understand. It's hard work, but you guys are chipping in, and it is so awesome. One of the big things I like about the Patreon is the interactivity. You guys are able to post legit onto Patreon. It is a once-a-month charge, so it's something that anybody could do because it's like $1 a month, $5 a month, something like that. It's pretty much something that anybody could do. If this is something that's working for you guys and you want to keep going and you want to see more edited stuff, traveling to places costs a lot. It costs me a lot, even though Corey and I's plane and hotel was covered, it still costs a lot of money to go to Germany. I've got more videos coming out for that. I don't know if I covered it very well because we went to a lot of meetings and stuff like that, but I plan on doing more trips like that and being able to document them and get them out to you guys. Maybe there's something that will inspire some kind of change at some point in time. But thank you guys for chipping in today, and thank you, Vince, for throwing up some cool links to a cool video. Handpan posted today at 9 in the morning saying, at 31 years old, I'm a proud fish grandma to Platy Fry. Woo! I had no idea she was pregnant, but I'm super excited to see them grow. I've only been keeping fish since February. Whoa! Talking about making moves, only keeping fish since February. That's like 4 months ago. An already grandmother. I like it. I'm only keeping fish in February, so this should be interesting. Loving it. I love seeing fish breeding. I love seeing the beautiful ribbing on this plant, how well it is doing. That looks awesome. Even in the silica sand. I'm digging it. That's cool. We must be using some fertilizers or something. Oh, we just got to the top. Daniel keeping fish posted today at 2 o'clock. So technically I'm not supposed to be addressing this, but I should because I think it has something to do with the tie-in of what we were talking about earlier. And that is Daniel keeping fish. Why won't it give me the whole thing on the page? Daniel keeping fish says, I just wanted to share my tranquil wee corner. I have a few other tanks dotted around, but this is definitely my escape from the real world spot. Yeah, this is great. And this right here, I think definitely illustrates, because there are a lot of people out there that have told me, I don't have the space, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, I don't have the this, I don't have the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. We're talking about a little bit of space, a little bit of counter space, and he's got 5 wonderful looking tanks that he's definitely been working on, taking care of them, and this is an amazing tranquil corner. There are a lot of things that I do to kind of chill myself out and not be a total raving maniac lunatic, but one of the things that I definitely do is spend time in my tranquil corner, working on my ecosystems, trying to get my fish to breed, making sure that my plants are growing properly, just tasting my substrate. What? I'm not actually tasting my substrate, but you get what I'm saying. But a tranquil corner like this could be an amazing change for a lot of people. One of the most depressing, saddest parts of my life, fish tanks definitely helped it out. Definitely did. Is it a natural treatment? Maybe. I don't know. I'm no doctor. Dr. Acula. But I want to thank Vexing Cat for contributing in and tipping into the old $10 super chat tip jar action. Jeez, come on now. It's a big tipper. Thanks, Vexing Cat. I appreciate it. I really do. But we are coming up on the end of the show. I went 40 minutes long, you guys. Goes to show you. He's only going to be on here for an hour, and it turns out I'm on for 1 hour and 41 minutes. I went 41 minutes over. How cool is that? Smooth. Big thank you to the Aquarium Co-op for a $50 super chat. You're a wild kid, bro. Wild kid, bro. I'll see you next week with your super chat. Fancy man. Barbara Jackson, thank you very much for your super chat. Steve Skoglund, thank you very much. Andrew Crankshaw, Daniel Scary, Vexing Cat, and especially thank you to everybody for coming out for the live show today, chatting into the live stream. If I didn't get to your question, always post it in the comments down below. We need your shares. We need your consideration to kind of spread the word. We're trying to build the channel. We're trying to build a project here. And thank you very much to everybody that's been contributing. Thank you very much to the moderators from everybody that was here helping moderate, ban the whatever the nonsense posts were, and that kind of stuff, and just kick the haters out the door. Thank you, moderators, for being badass and always being super cool and super helpful. Just kicking like chicken. And thanks to all the subscribers. Thanks to all the YouTubers. Thanks to all the weirdos. I hope you guys have a fantastic continued weekend. Speaking of the Aquarium Co-op, he's doing a live stream tomorrow, so don't forget to show up there and just blow in a bunch of stuff. Blowing a bunch of stuff into his chat. Just be like, chocolate wizards are weird. I think Gandalf was the best wizard. Just remember, I love all you guys, and I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and I will holla at y'all later. CJ, where'd you put that button?